This is a project that was just kind of handed off to me. It's a steel frame on wheels with a couple shelves and these butcher tops. And I want to talk about this product. I'm not a fan of it. It's a Baltic butcher block, Northern European hardwood countertops. Congratulations on purchasing a Baltic Birch butcher block. The best valued butcher block product on the market today! Exclamation point. With proper treatment, it will look great for years to come. So yeah, they say it's a slow growth, closed grain hardwood found in Northern Europe. It's not beech. Beech and birch are two different things. Beech is a good hardwood. Maple, good hardwood. Baltic birch is not a super hardwood. I can dent this with my fingernail. And so they got some care instructions here. It must be sealed on all surfaces within 48 hours of removing the shrink wrap. Tells you how to seal it, mineral oil, and everything else. So this kind of came at me yesterday. I'm trying to make it work. I'll talk about the tops here at first. Another guy started this project, and he had this piece with him. He brought it over to me yesterday, and when I felt it, it was very wavy. I said, "Oh, you sanded this?" He said, "Yeah, I used a random orbit sander." So this is short pieces glued together. Never use a random orbit sander on something like that, because each one of these pieces has a different hardness. The grain is not all oriented exactly the same on all these pieces. So you're going to get a waviness because your sandpaper is going to bite into the softer areas and not bite in as much in the harder areas. So you're going to end up with a surface that if you were to put a sheen on it, it's going to look like the ocean. You know what I'm saying? So don't do that. Use a sanding block and go over it by hand if you need to. In the instructions it tells you, coat it with oil, and if you get a raise of grain to sand it. No, don't do that. I just finished wetting these down. Wet them down with water when you first get it. Let the grain rise and then knock it down. You can use 150, I'm using 180, wrapped around this sanding block. That'll knock it down nice and flat, and then you can do whatever finish you want to do. On the ends, this is going to be outside, he's got a cover for it. I don't know how well it's going to last. If he keeps it covered and takes care of it, it should last quite a while. But on the ends, on the end grain here, what I'm using is this stuff called Good Stuff. This is a real good product. You can wipe it on with your finger, and it's not cheap. I think this little can is like $45, if I recall. I bought this probably over 10 years ago, and I still have it. So it will seal the end grain for you, and there's nothing wrong with using this on this, even if it's exposed to food, because your food's never going to touch the end grain. This one here was already warped when it came out of the package, so we'll see how it works out. And I'll just show you what I'm doing here. So there's this steel frame here that it was welded. I put a frame on the corners. Not all the corners are square, which is kind of a bummer. And they sized it with this lip here for the top, those tops to fit inside. Problem is that it's not square, so it's not exactly the right size. So I had to shave a little bit off one of those tops over there. And if you're ever going to do this in the future, my recommendation is make your steel frame smaller than the butcher block you're buying, and then you could do like a rabbet detail on the end on all four sides, and your top can hang over this end, which would protect it, and then no junk is going to fall into these gaps here, which should be welded, but it's okay. And this is going to be a very nice thing when it's done. I'm not complaining. Sounds like I'm complaining. I'm just saying there's better products. I'm sure that those things didn't cost a whole lot of money. They're going to last fine for a very, very long time. Everything will be fine. It's just that anything can always be better. That's all. There's the way to do it. There's the right way to do it. And then there's the Mike Z way, which is, I'm always trying to do things way better. And all you have to do is think it out a little bit. So I'm going to put some food grade mineral oil on this. It's going to eat up a lot of it. And then I'm going to seal it with my Clafham's salad bowl beeswax finish. Probably the client will end up doing that because he's got to buy some. I'm kind of out of it. But that's it. So stay tuned for pictures of this when it's done. And hopefully he'll invite me over for some food. This guy's like a foodie.